Welcome back, Miami Dolphins. Hit that like and subscribe and push the notification bell if you want to be notified when I drop new videos. Today we're going to be discussing the offensive line, and obviously I'm going to go much more in depth when, free agency starts and all that, but I just want to give you guys a little tidbits of what I'm seeing, of what we could do in order to fix this team up. And we're going to start with the offensive line today. Mostly offensive guard, just because the center and the tackles are pretty much there, with Teron Armstead, depending on what he does. But we have guys for those positions. It's mostly the guard. The guards was the weak position this year, and it's kind of what fell through after Austin Jackson went down. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into the free agents that we can get. I'll show you a couple of them, and also show you some of the backups that we should sign, because I'm telling everybody this year, if we go into free agency and we don't sign at least, I would say like 4-5 offensive linemen, it's a failure. We're doing the same exact thing that we did last year. Now, do I know if they do that? I don't know. Maybe they just do the same exact thing they've always done and then they get fired. But if they want to save their job, this year needs to be making sure that the offensive line is good to last till December, January. Because this is why we fall apart. It's not necessarily like people will blame it on Tua. Everybody blames Tua for everything. The reason that we fall apart, and again, when you looked at Tom Brady, when you looked at Drew Brees, when you looked at all of these different quarterbacks, the same reason why they all fell apart. When people got pressure on them, they would start messing up. So the reason we start screwing up in these late months is because our offensive line just blows up and we just don't have anybody. And then Tua has like 1 second to throw the ball every single time. That's what happens every single time we play a physical team. The good teams are just the physical teams that can bully us around, and Tua just has no time to throw. So what you need to do this offseason, 2 high-level starters, and you need to sign a bunch of backups, a bunch of players. We have Isaiah Wynn. You need to sign a couple more players and then like 3 backups to make sure that we have enough players going into the season so that Tua can at least, I know people don't like Tua, but if you at least give him 2-3 seconds to throw the ball, I promise you he's going to light it up. Like the fact that people say that he's not a good quarterback is it gets annoying after a while, because it's like, what are you watching? You know what I'm saying? You can clearly see that when people are getting pressure in his face all the time, it's very hard to throw the ball. So I don't understand how you can't see. Now, do I understand that he can't throw interceptions? Sure, of course. But while you're sitting on your couch eating potato chips, watching him play, he's getting attacked after 1 second of hiking the ball every single time. I think there's a literal time frame that it shows, like the average time for quarterbacks to throw in. Tua has like 1.4 seconds average. That's literally 1/1000. That's all he has time to throw the ball. Can you imagine trying to diagnose a defense and throwing the ball with that amount of time? It just makes no sense. So this offseason we need to sign a lot of offensive, but we'll get into it right now. So as you can see, guys, we're going to look at some of these free agents that we can pick up. We'll go over the draft ones later, but we're just going to kind of go over every single one of the free agents that are going to be available for the guard position, obviously, because you really think of it, Patrick Paul, Austin Jackson, and Aaron Brewer, they're going to be pretty solid for this year. So we have kind of a base, and Butch Barry has shown that he can do stuff with whoever that is there. Like even Liam Eichenberg, I feel like played mediocre this year because Butch Barry kind of made him look pretty decent. Like honestly, in the beginning of the year, Liam, before he got injured, Liam Eichenberg was not playing bad. So, Butch Barry can do stuff with certain people. That's why my main 2 choices would be James Daniels, Austin Corbett. And the reason behind it is because they are young enough. They're not going to cost that much. Like $8 million is not a whole lot. But what is kind of the key here is that Obviously, Zach Martin and Brandon Scherf, they're very good offensive linemen. They're old, but they are very good. But they're going to cost you like $15 million, a year, and I don't think that that's worth it. Me personally, obviously, if they go and get Zach Martin, I'm not mad about it, but I think someone like a James Daniels would be a really good pickup just because young enough. He's 27. He has started in the league. And the thing is that very agile player. He fits this type of style. And he's a very good run blocker. And that's something that we kind of need at the guard position. A lot of the time when we were doing our running plays, and the reason we would get stopped is because we got no push until Isaiah Wynn. He's another one that I do think should be brought back. I don't know if he's on this list. Is he under contract? Yeah, he might be under contract. Huh. Yeah, I guess Isaiah Wynn is under contract. So we'll have Isaiah Wynn, but we need to get some backups and something for the left side because Robert Jones was just not good. So Austin Corbett, James Daniels, and honestly, we need to get depth. So not just signing, those two players. Like I in the offseason, I don't want to see just one or two guards signed. We need to get depth for this offensive line. So what we need to do is we need to see a lot of people. So I would definitely target James Daniels, Austin Corbett, Isaiah Wynn needs to be on the roster. Will Hernandez even is a good name. That's another one. Or Nate Erbig. He's a really young guy. But definitely James Daniels would probably be the one that would start. And then I would say, listen, go get yourself, where is he? Go get yourself a Dalton Risner as a backup. He's not going to start. He's not going to cost a lot, but we can get down here. We can go and get a Jack Driscoll. We can go and get, where is he? Dalton Risner, which I know he's on this list. I know he's a free agent. I can't find him right now. Right there. Get a Dalton Risner. Get yourself a freaking, Kendrick Green. Get yourself some of these guys that can be a backup so that you have depth in the offensive line. I would even say get Lester Cotton. Lester Cotton played very good for us. I believe he wasn't, all-star caliber, but when he played for us, he was not, he was stand-up type of guy. So get yourself some of these guys to not only, obviously sign one of the bigger names to be able to solidify that left guard. Because if Isaiah Wynn is playing, we have to understand that he gets injured a lot. So get yourself a James Daniels, get yourself an Austin Corbett, and then sign some backups so that you can have depth at the offensive line. We need to make sure that we do not start going on like people like James Carman, and we need to have people that can stand in and that was one of the things that kind of kept us afloat towards the end of 2 years ago, is that some of the backups that we had, like Lester Cotton and Robert Jones, and Robert Jones was starting for us this year, were our backups, the year before when everybody was basically going down. So you need to get some of those guys so that your line just stays steady throughout the year, because that's the reason that we lose against these teams. We don't have a solid offensive line, so they take advantage of us. So as you can see, guys, there's going to be a decent amount of players. I don't want to get older players because older players often tend to be like Teron Armstead, injury prone. So I want to get some younger guys that can step in. Like I said, Butch Berry, he really does a great job with anyone that comes to this team. So if we can just get some decent players, Butch Berry can turn them into something that, just like he did with Austin Jackson, just like he did with even Liam Eichenberg. He made Liam Eichenberg a little bit better. If he can just take the guys that we get, turn them into something, but build depth for the offensive line, I think we'll be solid on the offensive line, because people are forgetting, we have a lot of pieces. I don't know what's happening with the Tyreek Hill thing. Maybe he gets traded, maybe we don't, but we have receivers. They will go after a receiver if Tyreek Hill gets traded, but we have running backs, we have receivers, we have tight ends. We just, maybe we need a blocking tight end, but we have pieces in place. It is literally the core. The core is what completely screws this team up every single year. If we can fix that, we're good to go. We can start winning playoff games. It's a possibility. Like, I feel like people, because we had this season, you forget that if Tua just didn't get injured, which I know it's a problem, we would probably be going to the playoffs again, and we might even be competing in the playoffs again if he just didn't get injured. We wouldn't even have a whistle about it. We would be there. We would probably have like 11 wins this year. So it's not like, like people like do this woe is me. It's not like we're this horrible team that can't compete with it. Like, we can. We beat the Rams this year. We're getting there. The only reason we couldn't throw deep was because of the offensive line. We didn't have enough time to throw the ball, and they were taking that away. So it's time to fix that. And if we do, I think we can really compete with a lot of teams. But as always, guys, fins up, baby. Love you all.